First of all, I want to issue a series of disclaimers. You've tapped on this video, you've obviously seen the title, you've obviously seen the thumbnail. I never ever clickbait any of my videos, so I want to make sure that it is clear what this video is about, who is going to be in the video, and I want to begin by apologizing if this is triggering to any family members, friends, colleagues. However, there's a reason, okay? There's a reason. The question is it too soon? But the state is the trial. The SENZO MEYIWA trial is resuming next week. And this week, there was a resuscitation, for lack of a better term, with regards to Warrant Officer MAKHUBO and threats on his life. This created, some curiosity for myself. And it led me to go back in time. Fortunately for us, we have the ability due to technology that we can go back to time. And as you know, Warrant Officer MAKHUBO was called to the stand by the late advocate Ngomezulu. So I want to issue a disclaimer. I apologize to anyone that this might trigger. However, even after watching this, I still made the decision to proceed with the video, and that is because my goal is to figure out what is it about Warrant Officer MAKHUBO, other than the fact that he knows, well, he's the author of docket 375. There are threats on his life right now. Somebody or some persons went to his home. His adult son pressed the panic button, and thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for the availability of the panic button, and thank goodness for the son's quick action to press that button. Otherwise, we'll be talking a whole separate issue. My focus in this video is going to be Warrant Officer MAKHUBO. So again, I ask for your grace. Another reason that led me down this rabbit hole is a comment that I received. Listen, I tell you all the time, I read all the comments, but this comment constantly kept playing back in my mind. And sometimes your first initial reaction to a comment is to disagree. But this comment, I said, let me read it again. And let me read it to you guys. This comment says, "You're getting it all wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong." Okay, this person wanted my attention. Okay, and guess what? You got it. They made sure, okay, that they made the comment so animated. And I said, for someone to come to the comments and speak this passionately, let me give them a fair chance. And I always do that with every comment. I try to be fair. And the comment continues and says, "GININDA did the right job." Okay, don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? We listen, we don't judge. Let's listen to the comment. The comment says, "GININDA did the right job." Remember, GININDA constantly sings. This was a prosecutorial-led investigation. This was a prosecutorial-led investigation. He sings that over and over again. But he's the same person who wanted Kelly Khumalo arrested. So this is the basis of this comment, okay? So I'm going to start reading it again so that it's complete. The person says, "You are getting it wrong, wrong, wrong. GININDA did the right job. He clearly testified that Kelly was a mastermind, meaning he believed too that there were no intruders." Are you guys picking up what this comment is saying? GININDA also believed that there were no intruders in the Spaza house. He also clearly said he applied for Kelly's arrest. From there, everything changed. Okay? That's what this comment is implying, that GININDA was on the right path, but something made him change. Okay, allegedly. Okay, I'm just trying to read this comment. This comment goes on to say he was instructed not to go that far. The question is, who stopped GININDA from doing his job? That is where BALOYI comes in. See how BALOYI is trying to keep Kelly away from this case. Now, let me tell you about this comment. This comment has been in my mind it's been playing over and over in my mind. So first of all, this person took their time to type this comment. They took their time to abbreviate, capitalize. They knew what they were doing in this comment, and it worked. Because I said, I'm going to give this comment a fair chance. I can't believe I am going to work for GININDA because of this comment. So I did just that. And I said, the only place to begin is the beginning. What do we have about Warrant Officer MAKHUBO? I went back to the beginning, guys. I want you to hear for yourself what happens in court on this day before Warrant Officer MAKHUBO I want you to pay attention to who is objecting profusely. Prosecutorially led investigation. I want you to keep those words in mind, okay? Today, we allow Brigadier Bongani Nicholas GININDA grace just to complete this video. And we put 1 + 1 together. So we listen, we don't judge. Let's listen to this. Please, I beg of you. I know it's going to be difficult for some of us. I wouldn't bring this video forward. I would not have brought this video forward because of the timeline, the recent passing of Advocate Ngomezulu. I apologize again, but I have no choice because this is about Warrant Officer MAKHUBO. And I think because of the threats Warrant Officer MAKHUBO, we cannot neglect or ignore what is going on. We need to follow the evidence. Let's watch this together. This is alleged. Shout out to you in the comment section. You know yourself. Let me know your thoughts. I'll meet you there in the comments. I'm going to play the video here. I'm going to have minimal interruptions because, woo, Giningi, okay? Giningi. Thanks for watching.
Whilst we're waiting for accused number 5, I've just been informed by Mr. Ramasipili that he wants to place certain things on record regarding the developments about the legal aid. I wonder if we shouldn't carry on with that in the meantime. It doesn't affect accused number 4, who's not here. In any case, his legal representative is here.
You want this court to sit with an accused person missing? Is that the court which is lawfully constituted?
If his legal representative agrees there too, he can be excused for a certain period.
It doesn't make the law, he can only quote the law.
Yes. Yes.
The law is clear.
Yes.
About the procedure you want to.
Yes, but my understanding is if his legal representative asks the court to carry on for a certain period of time in the absence of the accused, that can happen.
And then the accused comes and says, I mean, yes,
but fortunately, it doesn't really affect accused
number 2.
Accused number 4.
Number 4.
Yes, and I'm looking at section 1.
Is it not also instructed by the legal aid?
No,
I mean the legal aid.
No, not the, oh yes, accused number 4 is.
So it doesn't affect him?
No, it doesn't affect him.
Yes, Mr. Ramasipi, they say it doesn't affect number 4. Mr. Ngomalo, they say the client is not affected.
My lord, I'm standing up on behalf of accused number 4. I think I'm standing up for accused number 4. I think we rather take a short adjournment, my lord, because the court will not be fully or properly constituted in the absence of accused number 4. He has an interest in the matter.
I've just been informed that accused number 4 has arrived. It's just in the cells.
Okay.
To approach accused number 2. My feedback to legal aid as to the termination of the mandate that happened on Monday. Mr. Mujuto called me on my way this morning to say that it's not available, but he requests me to place the following on record. Firstly, that my mandate with legal aid or my termination of legal aid mandate by accused number 1 was not done with good cause.
Was not done?
With good cause. And secondly, that accused number 1 had previously been granted legal aid in the lower courts that he also terminated similarly, so that now he has placed himself in jeopardy of obtaining future help from legal aid should this instruction with Mr. Ngomezulu not going according to order. And lastly, that in case that he gets legal aid in future, it is not a guarantee that Mr. Ngomezulu will be appointed on his behalf. So those are the issues that I said should I not come to chambers and vacillate with the court, but he said they must be placed on record. As the court pleases, my lord, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, let's just be clear. So it says number 1, termination of the legal aid mandate
was not with good cause.
Was not done with good cause.
Yes.
Right?
And then that he has placed himself in jeopardy of getting legal aid in future because he was allocated legal aid in the lower courts that he also terminated before. And that in future, should he succeed with another application for legal aid, it is no guarantee that Mr. Ngomezulu is going to be appointed on his behalf.
Okay, let's hear Mr. Ngomezulu.
My lord, this is the first time to hear this, and I cannot comment further in relation to the instruction of accused number 1
to legal aid, or their relationship with accused number 1 to the legal aid board, to legal aid South Africa. So
you don't want to consult your clients? Because it's the first time you hear about this. There's your client.
May I just approach you?
Okay, so in keeping with the theme of the video, Advocate Ngomezulu goes over, he talks to accused number 1, he consults with him, he comes back and he says to Judge Retta, we're not going to talk about it. Accused number 1 reserves his right not to comment on what legal aid has said. So that's how that portion ended. I'm just bringing you up to speed because I'm not including that clip here because it's not relevant. I want us to get to the meat, okay? I want us to get to the juice. So let's continue listening on. Please stay until the end. Stay until the end. Keep in mind, okay, that the reactional comment is that GININDA did the right job. So I want you to put together what GININDA is saying now in present day court and put together what is happening here. And then we'll come back in the comment section with a conclusion, an alleged conclusion, of course. Okay, let's continue on. So now that they go over the legalities of legal aid and accused number 1's legal representation, who is now Advocate Ngomezulu, then the defense, of course, takes advantage of that and says, well, Advocate Ngomezulu would like to reopen the defense's case. And this is within a trial, and BALOYI won't hear of it. He will not hear of it. And then this is what's happening here. He begins to give his head of arguments. I'm just putting a small clip of those heads of argument for you to hear some of the stuff that he was saying. How Judge Rata reacted, that is a shocker. Stay tuned, okay? Stay tuned. Stay with me. I appreciate you.
I think Mr. Ngomezulu has signaled his intention to apply for reopening of the defense case. Maybe we should first stand down to give him the opportunity to motivate his justification.
We should stand down?
To give him the opportunity to motivate his application.
No, I thought it was by common consent.
No, as indicated, my lord, we do oppose
you're opposing it now?
The application. And it is our submission that reopening is not just merely there for the taking. The accused has got to motivate such application.
Okay. Mr. BALOYI, this court has made an order premised on the basis that you did not oppose the application. You actually suggested that maybe if we postpone it to Thursday. You remember?
Yes.
Saying that?
What?
Hello?
Yes. No, that was in respect of legal aid, my lord. That
no, it wasn't.
The issues pertaining to legal aid be stood down. So for a few days, my words were, my lord, that the issues regarding legal aid be stood down so that this issue can be resolved. And I did mention, my lord, that precisely what Mr. Ramusipili has put on record now, that we might find ourselves in a situation where accused number 1 is not in the position to afford legal fees.
So you're saying the order made was incorrect?
Well, I'm just putting on record what
the state's view.
What the state view was. The court will recall that even when we're in chambers, I indicated that the state opposes the application, and the court then mentioned to Mr. Ngomezulu that the state is opposing the application. What is his comment?
No, fine. I'm overruling you. I've made an order, and I understood the order to say that the application for the reopening of the accused state's case, number 1's case, is granted. The order is granted.
We do understand and respect that, my lord, but can we just be allowed to argue the point? And if the court then still, after arguing the point, overrules us, we will leave it there. But
okay, let's hear you.
We just ask to be heard, my lord.
Okay.
We've compiled heads of argument, my lord, in this regard. My lord, the nub of the issue at this stage is whether accused number 1 can be allowed to reopen his case and call further witnesses in a trial within a trial after his legal team, consisting of Mr. Ramusipili and Mr. Ngomezulu, took a conscious decision to close the defense case on the 16th of February 2024 without calling any defense witnesses. In paragraph 1.2, my lord, we point out that Mr. Ramusipili has been representing accused number 1 and 2 during the trial. On the 16th of October 2023, Mr. Ramusipili indicated to the court that Mr. Mngomezulu was joining him as part of the defense team for accused number 1 and 2. And he addressed the court as follows. We refer to the record of the 16th of October 2023, pages 1 and 2. And we quoted the following passage: exceptional circumstances for the reopening. We submit that the defense must lead all its witnesses during its case, and that a conscious decision has been taken not to lead evidence of those witnesses during the trial, within the trial, but that they will consider calling them in the main trial, and Mr. Mngomezulu agreed with the decision. Paragraph 2.7, we submit, my lord, that an important factor to consider is that some of those witnesses might be on the list of state witnesses in the main trial.
Yeah, sorry, that's exigency. Is that a fact? You remember
Yes,
I asked,
it is a fact. For
I
instance,
asked,
yes.
if you recall, who are these witnesses?
Yes.
Mr. Mngomezulu said, hey, SAP.
Yes.
I said, who? Then he elaborated and mentioned their names. He knows the principle. If any of those witnesses who are police officers are in the list of witnesses intended to be called by the state, you know the first privilege and preference falls onto the state, Mr. Mngomezulu.
Yes.
You are aware of the principle.
Yes. For instance, General
No,
Shabani.
let him first
Oh,
respond.
sorry.
Because that is the only factor which is new here. That, let's read it so that an important factor to consider is that some of them might be on the list of state witnesses in the main trial. For instance,
Yes.
General Shabani, so the state must still make a call whether to call him or not. He is thus a state witness. What do you say about that?
My lord, I agree with the court to the effect that if a witness is purported to be used in the main trial, the state must be, in the event it does not want to use that witness, can make the witness available
Right.
to the...
What's the section 2? Who knows criminal law here? Section? When you make witnesses available, you don't just make them available. The law
Yes.
says so. Section?
I think it's 2.
Okay, fine. Right, yeah, you know that.
Yes, my lord, I know that.
That's it. So,
My lord,
no, let's just listen to me.
all right.
You must confer with Mr. BALOYI about the possibility of, for instance, this very witness, Mr. Shaban, whether he intends calling him. I made a considered decision. And you know, by the way, I'm functus officio.
yes.
You know that.
That's
I've made
correct.
that decision. I can't go back. But this exigency was never considered by me. I consider the fact that there were exceptional circumstances in calling these so-called 3 witnesses by accused number 1 in rebuttal of the state's case in the trial within the trial, because it was never mentioned at any stage. You and Mr. You and the other defense counsels, you held a private meeting. Is that not so?
That's correct.
I wasn't part of that meeting. So I wasn't aware that, oh, zombies are with the main trial or what. So I just listened to you saying that it is imperative and in the interest of justice and fairness that those witnesses required for the defense of accused number 1 be called, right? So I don't have a problem with that. The only problem which would appear to be a problem is if General Shabani, as stated by the state, is intended to be used in the main trial.
May I address the court?
Yes, yes.
My lord, in relying on the exceptional circumstances that may emanate during the application or at the request of either of the party, it has been made clear that General Lishabani does not have to come and testify on what the state will lead as evidence in the main trial.
Who says that?
That's what I told my colleagues.
Who told you? I
May I-
don't know that.
Yes, may
I don't know that.
May I address that?
Yes.
Accused number 1, when he places the evidence, when he led his evidence, he said when he was released, then that was said during the course of the trial within the trial. And I even, when consulting with General Shaban, I confined only
No, no, I don't
on
want to
that
hear
aspect.
no, I don't want to hear about your consultation.
Yes.
You know it's improper.
But I don't want to dwell much on the consultation.
No,
The
no,
reason why.
No, you know what? There's only one aspect here. Whether Lishabani is going to be used in the main trial or not. That's all. The other stories, they're settled. I've given an order that you can call whichever witnesses you want to call.
Will the same
But
apply?
if the state says one of the witnesses it wants to call, then the law obviously says the state must have the first privilege to call that witness. And if he refuses, Mr. BALOYI, if he refuses after having made a statement, you know what to do.
Yes, there are various
Yeah, the law is
avenues
clear.
open.
You can be impeached,
But what
etc.,
puzzles,
etc.
what puzzles me is that the same state that is objecting to the calling of General Lishabani is the one that subpoenaed him to come to court today. So if this thing is canvassed now and I was not informed,
Yeah, okay, now that
Advocate BALOYI.
Mr. Gomez, otherwise we're going to be here the whole day.
yes,
Unless you quote me the law which says I can override the consents of the state that they intend calling Lishabani. If it's in the law, I will order it, okay?
thank you, my Lord, I will do so.
Otherwise,
But may I
it's-
just
it's
place
too
this
late
one,
over.
because the state has already made submissions relating to all what the court has
To what?
had. I'm saying the state has already made submissions
to do what?
about this heads of argument, and I was not even informed that they are going to.
No, they're irrelevant now because like I said,
They are relevant, but I was not afforded the
Yeah, yeah,
opportunity, and I did not consult with access number
Yeah,
one.
fine.
Yes.
But those hits, they're okay. The only new dichotomy which they traverse is the fact that Lishabani may possibly be called by the state as a witness in the main trial. That's all. Otherwise, all these principles, I know them. One case you, Mr. BALOYI, forgot, the state versus King. Hello? Are you aware of that
Yes,
case?
indeed. Madam.
That's it. That's the leading case in this exigence.
Yes, sir.
SCA. Judgment was written by Harams.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you
So,
just
okay,
maybe-
Mthetho Nyawazi.
But my Lord, I'm really concerned about this
The-
objection by the state.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah, fine. You can discuss it when you are having coffee.
So is the same apply to the second witness that I was going to call, Warrant Officer
No, he
MAKHUBO?
hasn't mentioned him in the papers here. I'm talking about what he says. He doesn't say, and so and so and so. Unless he says that, but he hasn't said that. Mr.
Indeed, my Lord. But
Yeah.
can you just maybe finalize our submissions?
Yeah.
Yes. I can just place on record that we did not subpoena General Lishabani as my learned
Right.
friend has contended. The only witness that we requested to be subpoenaed at the request of the defense is Warrant Officer MAKHUBO. That is the only witness.
Warrant Officer MAKHUBO.
Yes.
And then Mr. Is that Colonel David Sibia?
Well, they indicated, my Lord, that we should only subpoena
Oh, okay, fine.
that witness, yeah.
Yeah, fine.
In paragraph 2.8, we mentioned, my Lord, that this case has been long running.
Yeah, fine.
And the family of the deceased, the public
Yeah.
are entitled to an outcome on the guilt or innocence of the accused as soon as is practicable. And we submit, my Lord, that applications of this kind delay the proceedings. And finally, as far as relevance is concerned, we mentioned paragraph 3.1 that it is not immediately clear what the relevance of those witnesses' evidence is to the question whether accused number 1 and 2 have made the disputed statement freely and voluntarily. They were not present when the accused were arrested or in any way involved in the investigation phase when accused number 1 and 2 made those statements. And, my Lord, we make this submission with the greatest of respect. The aim of leading their evidence appears to want to throw a red herring and to distract from the real issues that are in dispute. We mentioned that accused number 1 will still have the opportunity to call them in the main trial if the state makes them available to the defense. We therefore submit that there is no prejudice. And finally, my Lord, we make the submission that should the court be inclined to grant the application, that the state will request that Mr. Mngomezulu must indicate in detail what the relevance of the evidence is of every such witness that he intends to call.
Okay. Is that it?
That is,
Yeah, I've heard you.
that's
Mr.
it.
Mngomezulu knows the law. He doesn't have to tell this court before he leads the witness whether that evidence is going to be relevant or not. I've been supplicating all in the trial, within the trial. I even made a remark that some people are going to Afghanistan or the Antarctica. When this thing, the trial within the trial is compartmentalized. It's just one issue there. Whether the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that these statements or confessions or admissions or pointing outs were made freely and voluntarily. But I've listened to people telling me about visiting the girlfriend in phase 2, Rustenburg. What is her name? Was he told that they're taking you away? I just get quiet. But obviously, when this court makes a decision, it is based on what the law says. The trial within the trial is. You can read whether Mr. Woman right here looking at me. State versus Muchinindi. You're aware of that case. Right. State versus Lameni. Right? State versus Ferreira, etc., etc., etc. So Mr. Gomezulu doesn't have to address the relevance of those witnesses. This court has granted the order that those witnesses may be called, except now, as I say, the only problem would be Leshabani because the state says they're going to use him, if possible. Okay, so you can continue, sir. But before you do that, just synopsis of the interpretation of the legal issues which have been raised, so that the accused may understand what is happening. I know some of them do understand English. The other day, I listened to accused number 2 saying, in Pukeng, I normally go to the offices there to certify documents. Am I quoting you correct, sir? Accused number 2.
Iqiniswa ngisho ukuthi inkantolo wena uke wakhuluma isingesi la enkantolo. Uthi wena ephukeni unokuya uma uyocertify amanye amaphepha.
You said it in English.
Ithi inkantolo uyisho ngesingesi ngelika George.
And I can tell you, very few judges can express themselves like you. Okay, let's go on. Just tell them the synopsis.
Okay, keeping in mind with the theme prosecutorially led investigation, we hear how Advocate BALOYI profusely, does not want Advocate Ngomezulu to be able to call the witnesses for the defense again, because he says they had already closed the case and they agreed and Ngomezulu was present. He's building a case. This is in his heads of argument, and the witnesses that Ngomezulu wants to call is General Leshabane, Warrant Officer MAKHUBO, and Colonel Sivia. But the judge says, I already made a ruling on this. I've decided, you know what? It is the state's decision if they will call General Leshabane as a witness. Therefore, the state takes first privilege and preference. So Ngomezulu cannot call them. It is the state that has to confirm if they will call General Leshabane. Okay? But why? And if you look under the hood, if you look at the underlying issue, I believe, based on these clips, that BALOYI did not want Warrant Officer MAKHUBO to take the stand as a witness. He did not want this moment to happen. He tried by all means. That's why he gave his heads of argument, and the judge says, well, there's nothing new about your heads of arguments. The only thing here that I can rule about is the part about General Leshabane. If you say he's your witness, we follow the law. Ngomezulu knows the law. He understands it. So, is General Leshabane a witness? Yes, he's a state witness. He's off the table for Ngomezulu. And Ngomezulu said, and then there's some confusion whether the state had called over General Leshabane for that session. And then BALOYI confirms he didn't call Leshabane, but he called Warrant Officer MAKHUBO. So Warrant Officer MAKHUBO is in the building. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which end of the spectrum you're on, Warrant Officer MAKHUBO is about to take the stand. Now, let's continue to listen to this part, and then we'll continue listening on.
My Lord, may I have a directive as to...
Now, call your witnesses. The state, I told the state that I'm found to Sufiki. I've made an order already. That,
I call General
the court should be open. I mean, the case of accused number 1 should be open, and that the witnesses which you intended calling should be called, except General Leshabane, because the state says they intend, or they may still intend using him in the meantime. Okay.
I understand now.
Right.
Thank you. God pleases. May I call Warrant Officer MAKHUBO?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Whilst still waiting for Warrant Officer MAKHUBO, I just want to draw my learned friend's attention to Section 210 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which reads as follows: no evidence as to any fact, matter, or thing shall be admissible, which is irrelevant or immaterial, and which cannot conduce to prove or disprove any point or fact at issue in criminal proceedings.
And Mr. Ngomezulu is aware of that section.
I'm aware of this section.
Yes. Yes, sir, the witness in, sir.
Now, definitely, I want to hear what you noticed in the comment section down below. Here is some questions I have. So, did you notice how Baloyi, even though the judge overruled his objection, even though he gave his full heads of arguments, the judge says, let it be, Ngomezulu, I'm opening up the case again, call your witnesses. But Ngomezulu says, can I please call a warrant officer MAKHUBO? And the judge says, yes, you can. And Baloyi stands up and says, oh my goodness, since this is going on, I really didn't want this to go on. Well, I need to make sure that Ngomezulu is aware of the conditions, that everything that Mr. Ngomezulu does with the witness Mr. Ngomezulu must indicate the relevance of every witness that he intends to call. And the judge says, Ngomezulu knows the law. He knows the law. Rata then also says, Ngomezulu is also aware of that section because Baloyi quotes section 210, and these are the conditions that he sets for warrant officer MAKHUBO to take the stand. Let me know in the comment section, am I the only one who's picking up a sense of desperation with regards to Baloyi and warrant officer MAKHUBO? I don't know. I was just shocking. That wait a minute, what's going on here? What is going on? Why is the state nervous with warrant officer MAKHUBO taking the stand within a trial? Of course, I don't want to make this video too long. I didn't start MAKHUBO's testimony, but we're definitely going to go into that in the next video. So please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Is the commenter right by saying GININDA did his job? He was just held back by the conditions he was set, or did somebody give GININDA the script that he then led down the route of the South African Police Services and the evidence that we currently have in the current court? I don't know, but you know what? I'm curious because it was a prosecutorially led investigation. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I definitely want to hear from you on this one. If you've made it this far in the video, you absolutely have my heart. Thanks for watching all the ads. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. Let's get this video to 1,000 subscribers. We've got to get to the bottom of this. What is going on with warrant officer MAKHUBO? Because this was a bit too much. Let me know in the comment section if you agree that this was too dramatic. This was too dramatic for a witness coming to the stand. Too much drama. But somebody also said that the SENZO MEYIWA trial, if it isn't drama, it's trauma. It's drama, it's trauma. Ganingi. I'll catch you in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next upload.